Introducing your hosts from Collingwood, Ontario, Canada, Jack Edwards, and his partner from Dallas, Texas, by way of Port Arthur, Texas, Big George. Together, they are the North-South Connection.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am Jack Edwards, a.k.a. Fat Hardy, and this is Big George. We are the North-South Connection. We're coming from different places tonight. George is obviously immensely happy that the Pistons won. I'm happy for him. You know, when I was a kid, I bought a Pistons starter jacket. I had one. Before the Raptors came, that was my team. And then Isaiah Thomas came out of that egg and fucking, you know, it was awesome.
Hey, look, everybody has their Isaiah Thomas experience. Yeah. Mine didn't come until after he was in his prime of the bad boys, when he started to kind of be a coach. That's when I started to know who Isaiah Thomas was, but then I started to rewind the clock a little bit and watch some of the old playoffs and stuff back. And, you know, my love for the Pistons ain't went away. I live in Dallas. I support Dallas's basketball team because they're on the West. So that's the only reason I would support Dallas as well as Detroit, but it's Detroit of everything. So,
well, listen, that's great. Well, on my side, the Leafs shit the bed and fell back in it as expected. This is like when people say Buffalo's had it. I'm sorry to get on a rant here about sports. We'll get to wrestling.
I knew it.
But like when people say that Buffalo has the toughest, I'm like, at least they've made four Super Bowls. The Toronto Maple Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. That was Canada's like 100th birthday. There were only 6 teams in the league. They haven't beaten a team in a series in 5 games or less since like 1963, and they're 1-13 in games in which they have an opportunity to close out a series. They're dreadful during this. They haven't had the clutch gene. And so onward and upward. But tonight we're talking wrestling. George, that's what we're here for. I'm happy because I'm a little down in the dumps. But I'll tell you what, we got a great topic tonight. WCW television champions. Like, I think we're going to get into it because it's a little late, but we'll see where we go. But this is a great topic because when, you know, the WWF, the Intercontinental Belt was known as kind of the workers' belt. For me in WCW, the TV title was that workers' belt title. Like you had all the good workers kind of held that belt. And later on, we'll get to some more stuff about what happened on, we've been away. You know, the Leafs played last week and I think the Pistons did too. So we kind of took the night off, but I thought of the TV belt as the workers' belt. I thought that's what it is. And we have so many good people have held that title. And I'm excited to talk about some of them. So, George, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off hot. Who do you got? Who is on your list? The top 5 TV champions.
I'm going to go ahead and get it out the way because I feel like we're not going to be able to just kind of throw a list together and it's just going to be 5 straight. This might go to 7 to 8 and it might kind of come in enhance. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this name out there as one of the best TV champions that I know of. Personally watched it myself, and I feel like when he broke out of a tag team into his singles career, him and the TV title kind of went hand in hand. And I think he kind of put a little bit of a hold on it, and he put a little bit of respect on it too. So Booker T has to go first.
I didn't. That was like
So if y'all are worried about why John is so reacted to that, because he said he was going to predict one of my picks, and I'm pretty sure you probably was. Booker T was one of the greatest TV champions.
Absolutely, yes. So
at the end of the day, I mean, he probably was on your list to pick if I didn't pick him.
Yeah. I knew you'd pick him, and I knew he'd be on this list no matter what. Like, so when I said the workman's belt, like, that's the guy you think about, like, the Nitro era of WCW. When I think of the workman's TV champion, he's the guy, man. Booker T was great. He always looked good in that belt, too. It always just fit him well.
It fit him,
you know. And he went on to bigger and better things. But, again, there's a guy who, had great matches. Like, the 98 Booker T is so underrated when you had, matches with Martel, Fit Finley, Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Bret Hart, just so many great matches in 98. And people don't really talk about it as much. His 1998 run was, to me, star-making because he worked with all the best guys.
he worked with everybody for who was anybody at that point. The thing about it being a working belt, it didn't matter who it was who walked up to him and was like, let me get a shot. He was like, I'll see you Monday night or Saturday night or whenever he wanted to put it on the line, because WCW was random like that. It didn't matter what show it was. You could have put a belt on that motherfucker, and we defended it at 9 o'clock sharp. And, you know, that's just how every night. Look, I put it to you like this. Booking for WCW was crazy back then because you could have found any type, like you had pay-per-view level matches on a Monday night, like all the time. Thursday night, Thunder, they kind of started to load that show up too. And, you know, they had Saturday nights and Sundays, and, you know, they had Sunday Night Heat at one point in time.
Well, that was WWF.
WWE. So I remember WCW had tried to compete with a Sunday night show at one point in time, but it didn't last.
They had one years ago. It was on Main Event. It was like 6 o'clock on Sunday.
Right.
And I don't know when it ended. No, it was WCW Main Event. It was like in the early 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
that's when
they had that, but that didn't make the Nitro era. That wasn't but like Saturday night you get like Dean Malenko against like Ultimo Dragon. You know?
Yeah. Right.
Jesus.
For the belt. And then Monday night, like if you was a person who only watched on Monday nights, you would come back confused as far as what happened over the week, because of course somebody had the belt last week the same amount of time this week. So it worked out that way a lot. So
but Booker T, you got to pick it. So listen, you had to know this was coming. I can't really not put Bobby Eaton on the list. He didn't hold it for long, but I mean, he's just, you know, he's one of the best to ever hit the mat. So if you're going to talk about great TV champions, I think he's got to be on the list.
You absolutely have to put Bobby Eaton on the list. I think the thing about this list is not going to have those, because it's a workman's belt. These people defended it way more than a lot of other title runs. So, like the World Heavyweight Championship, you could probably not see that belt defended within months at times on programs.
Yeah,
but the IC title, the WCW television title was one of those. Every Monday night, you had
every Thursday, every Saturday.
You know, whatever show came up, somebody was defending it. And I think that's kind of how you have to put a testament to it. Like some of these guys had a really short run. Some of them had much longer runs. Some of them had more impactful runs. I felt like one of the people on my list that I have coming up here, he had an impactful run, even though it was short. And I feel like it was some of those things that kind of made the belt actually kind of fun to actually hold and actually see those matches, because that TV title was actually something serious. So
George,
Bobby definitely goes on the list.
Bobby, so hit it. Who's the next guy?
So the next guy who goes into here and has an impactful run, which I could probably say there's more impactful runs than other folks. But when Chris Jericho held the belt for the little bit of time that he did, he was very impactful towards the end of WCW. It was in the later 90s, so it was kind of like you seen him have the belt.
Yeah, he had held it a bit in did he hold the TV and the Cruiserweight?
He did. They kind of merged right into the each other's title reign. So he was actually holding belts a lot, but Chris Jericho had a very impactful run with the TV title. And of course, it wasn't better than some of the others. I just felt like it was a lot more impactful because at that time, it was at the point to where Chris Jericho was about to make his big jump at certain points, but he had to come up off that belt. So he defended it well. I feel like he did a lot of things that he could have, you know, had a longer run in WCW. I mean, of course, I wanted everybody's WCW run to be longer. Hell, look how it ended.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you kind of have to look at it as for what they did for the time that they had there. And Jericho,
he had like 3 months run.
Right. He had a good little run.
That's a good run.
It was very entertaining. So I think that's one of the things that made his run a little bit special.
Yeah. Okay. Got? Chris Jericho. Well, I think when it comes to TV champions, I think this is the GOAT. The Enforcer, Arn Anderson. I don't think I think he may have had, I don't know if he had the most reigns, but he had one of the longest. And he just, to me, when like he made that belt mean something. when he had it in the 80s and they had it in the 90s. Like anytime he had that belt, it meant something. And I definitely think for me, it's, Arn Anderson belongs on the list and probably near the top, Nick. And I mean, when you talk about Workman's belt, again, that's the guy you're talking about. Like just as good as it gets. As good as it gets.
Like I would say there's no more better number one than Arn Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, I feel like there's a lot of things that Arn Anderson didn't do wrong in the business. So it's like, you kind of have to put a person in there and kind of have to say, all right, this is number one, and everybody else kind of falls on where everybody else is. Arn Anderson definitely can be up there with the with his reign. But my next pick.
Well, we got it. We each get a shot. So who do you got for number 5?
Prince Iaukea.
Oh, Jesus.
Prince Iaukea doesn't get enough shine. I feel
he
like
doesn't.
Because let's be honest, he doesn't get enough shine. He was pushed in the right time. He was pushed in the right mark. It's just that he came in with the NWO. It's hard to kind of make that without thinking about anything. He was a good wrestler.
He was okay. He was good. He did. Can I throw a name out there that I think is a little bit better?
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Steve Regal. No. He held it on multiple times against multiple guys, and Workman's belt. Steve Regal's got to be above Prince Iaukea.
But in my mind, Alex Wright is above Steven Regal.
No, he's not. No,
yes,
he's not even close. He's not even close.
How many heel TV champions did we have?
Like another guy like Alex Wright. Okay, I like Alex Wright, so I like that. I'll consider, but he's not as good as Steve Regal. What about Fit Finlay?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would Fit Finlay in there.
I think that's the guy. Because like
he was 5. No, he might be 5. Now that I think about it, Fit Finlay had a run with that belt that was kind of
short but impactful.
Goatish. Because he had some good ass matches. Like that was the thing. He had some good ass matches. Like if y'all ever kind of bored and y'all want to see some good wrestling, go watch Fit Finlay in WCW. Not Finlay, Shillelagh Finlay in WWE, which was still fun.
Yeah.
But Fit Finlay with the what did they call him? He had the mullet back in the day.
He did, and then he had the flat top.
Exactly. He had the flat top mullet. Go back and look at Fit Finlay. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, he was very technical. If you like wrestlers like Dean Malenko, Larry Zbyszko, just kind of the smaller package kind of guys, but they can pack a big punch and they do a lot. Like, not saying that he's Jericho, he's a man of 1,000 holes or some shit, but he's definitely one of those that you can watch and say he appreciated the business, and he was a brawler too.
He wasn't just guy.
He wasn't just putting people in sleeper holes and shit. He was trying to choke you out and kick you up and punch your ass in the teeth. So and could definitely be 5.
And could work with any style. Like he could work with like the luchadors, work with the big guys. Because he was in that mid range. And you want to watch Finlay, go back and watch some of his stuff from England and Germany. Like he had some matches in Germany. He worked a lot.
Germany matches. He was really big off of Germany for a while.
He worked there a lot. He worked it so he was good, definitely. So George, let's rank these bad boys. I think we said number 1, I think is Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Number 2. I would say Booker T at 2.
Booker T? We'll take Booker T at 2. I think
Bobby Eaton at 3.
Bobby Eaton at 3. Finlay at 4. Jericho at 5.
Jericho at 5, yeah. Okay. I agree with that.
That's the list. I think that's a hell of a list. I'll tell you. It's like, that's a good list. So, honorable mentions, though, we had a couple. We had Regal, Prince Iaukea, Alex Wright. The Great Muta, I think, was a world TV champion. I think he deserves to be there.
I would say
very good one. Yeah, Ultimo Dragon for sure.
Ultimo Dragon deserves to be there. Honorable mention, Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP. Yeah, he had a good run with it. Like so, Surfer Sting had a run with a world TV title.
Definitely did in the 80s.
Yeah.
I would also say one of my favorite, and I know he wasn't going to make the top 5. I actually got 2. I'm going Disco Inferno.
Disco.
Because Disco is fun. I like Disco. Disco would get in a couple matches and do a couple things every now and again.
Yeah.
But my second, y'all know I love me some Perry Saturn. Perry Saturn was that guy, and his title run with the TV title was something that I was hoping that lasted a lot longer. The Ravens flock thing was kind of cool for a while, so him joining that and kind of being, one of the pillars of that was kind of cool too. So, Perry Saturn is definitely going on the honorable mentions list. I'm not taking him out of there.
I'm gonna put on. I'm gonna throw in Rick Martel as an honorable mention for his 98 run. So George, that's a great list. So there's been a lot happening in WWE. Obviously, I've been tuned into a lot of it, but I tell you what, that Seth Rollins pairing. And can I just say this? I'm not one to brag, but I called every step of that.
You really did.
You
go back and watch.
No, not just that, but I don't know if I did it here, but I mean, and it just because it made logical sense. If he's gonna somebody out of that match had to become a heel. Someone had to. You had to have a heel come out. And he had to go with Paul because it'd be the ultimate betrayal. So it made sense it was Rollins because he wasn't the Paul Heyman guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, there's going to be a tag team match. So these guys got to have a tag match. So he's going to have a partner. And who's his partner going to be? I'm like, well, who's the next Paul Heyman guy? Braun Breaker. And he's got to be a main event guy. It made sense to me. I'm like, oh, well. So, but I love it. I think the pairing's great. I don't know if they add anyone else. I'm not sure. But, it's been good. And Cena and Randy Orton had dynamite interaction with I love the Raw after Mania one where he came out of nowhere. Literally you just see his face and it was perfect. So, and then the SmackDown one was a good promo,
SmackDown has been raising its game to a level over the last years. You used to think about Raw and SmackDown and how Raw was the headline show, and then SmackDown was what you kind of caught up with on Friday. Now it's it's almost where you have to pick a side. I kind of like it like that, but not necessarily in the fact of business and stuff like that. It's just I kind of like it in the aspect of SmackDown has grown so much as a show. There's not very many wrestling promotions that have 2 flagship shows.
There isn't any. Because it's just they've been doing it for so long. But you're right. They mixed up the stars well. Listen, this is a Jacob Fatu Stan podcast. This is 100%. He is that. Somebody tweeted out the next member of this Heyman Alliance, and they put Jacob Fatu. I'm like, no way. That dude's a babyface. That dude's promo on Stolo was just and he even makes that belt look good. And that belt is the worst belt in the history of mankind. It is horrible. But they have him humming. Braun's reaching a new level. Sami Zayn's back in the mix, which is cool. He's getting killed again. Good to see Sami back, taking a beating for all of us.
Not getting killed again is crazy.
Good Canadian boy, but they're doing some good things. I think the Becky Lynch angle, they're getting her back in, and I think that Rhea Ripley's going to have some new opponents coming up. Yeah. So there's a lot happening. They really, people were before were just that's the worst thing ever, and WrestleMania, I loved it. I enjoyed it. Was the end of the finish of the last match great? No. Was the last match great? No. But it was what it was, but it got us to Raw after Mania, which was dynamite. Just everything clicked. Everything's been clicking. They're changing things up. I hope they, the Logan Paul, Jimmy Uso, somebody called that. It's just, and people not, and people knock him, Logan Paul, but God, the guy's money.
the reason why I think people feel like Logan Paul has not necessarily made very much of an impact is because you got people who think Logan Paul isn't a wrestler. In my mind, he still hasn't crossed that fold yet because, of course, I feel like in hindsight, in today's wrestling, it's a lot of popularity, it's a lot of superstar power, it's a lot of fame and all that good shit.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of people who come in, like we were kind of having that conversation about how all these celebrities that come in who aren't actually athletes. And I think
he is mind, though.
He's I put it to you like this.
You box Floyd Mayweather. You box Floyd Mayweather, you're a fucking athlete. Like I don't care if it was an exhibition or not. You're standing in front of one of the best boxers in the history of the world, and he's gonna punch you. You're an athlete. To go through that fight and still be standing at the end, you're a legit athlete. Look at that guy. Look at what he can do. And he's got size. That's the thing. He's got size. And he's clearly been in a fight before. Like, so I think he's like, I've always liked him. I always thought he was great. He looks like a star, walks like a star, talks like a star. And yeah, is he probably a douchebag? Absolutely. All the better. Like, I mean, Jim Ross once said, like, I think, it's, like the character's got to be something within you. Well, if you're a douchebag, be a douchebag. But I mean, he puts on good matches. Like, I don't see I get people hate him. Good, hate him. It's like, remember JBL in 2004? People, they legit hated him.
Well, one of the reasons why they legit hated JBL is because he had those antics at that time too. I put it to you like this. If Logan Paul is JBL these days, the internet is his biggest ploy. JBL back in the day used to do wild shit. I was watching a clip for the other day when he was in the wood looking for Mexicans, illegal Mexicans. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, people hated JBL for almost personal reasons because that motherfucker was really out there doing bullshit. Because when he had that flashlight on them random Mexican people that was sitting out there, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it was hilarious to watch. Not crazy. Like random race, but it was just like, WWE pushed the lines on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And they used JBL back in the day to push the line on things. And I would always say that it was definitely in the sake of wrestling that they did these things. I don't think it was very, very malicious because you could tell that these people were paid into doing some of this stuff. And of course, you can kind of tell that these people were kind of going with it. But if you never had watched wrestling before and the first time you turn on wrestling, you seen JBL running some Mexicans off the border and shit.
Yeah.
I guarantee you would have cut the TV off and called the cops. Yeah. But at the same time, that's just how it went. I think that's kind of how you have to look at it. So, hating Logan Paul is not a bad thing in my mind.
It's the business. Aside from Logan Paul, though, a guy I've been liking a lot, Karrion Kross.
He's been coming up.
He's going to get a shove. He's over. He's really over. Like, he's just that whole thing, the gimmick he does, and he's very engaging, and like he looks the part. He's a big dude who can work. I'm just like
AJ Styles turn heel.
No, I don't think so. I think AJ's going to stay babyface. I think he's going to turn babyface. I think he's going to get involved in that Logan Paul thing because he said, like, maybe I should go beat Logan Paul's ass, and people are going to cheer him.
Probably. More than likely, they're going to cheer him. Just like they do John Cena every time he comes out, and he's the biggest heel in the world right now.
My God, he's dynamite, eh? Just on all cylinders. The whole thing with the announcement, and then like the thing with Randy. How dare you parent shame me? Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Like, who knew John Cena was ready to be a heel for this and actually ready to kind of
anybody who watched him. Like, I knew when they decided to pull the trigger, man, he was going to be money.
If they would have did it when he was younger, he probably would have never left to go to Hollywood.
Maybe not, but I mean, like, look what we get now. Like, he's just unbelievable. And his interaction with Randy, and it's going to be an interesting match. I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun.
Absolutely.
And I
kind of look after, because I think we've been waiting on the Randy John Cena rematch for years at this point.
Yeah, people were waiting on it.
But do you think Randy takes the belt off of him?
No. It's Randy's hometown. Randy's gonna get screwed. I mean, that's good. I think that's the way. But what was the other one that's coming up that they announced? McAfee. Pat McAfee with a promo for the ages. Jesus.
Pat McAfee had it in him.
Oh, I did. He's a great talker. He's funny as hell.
But you never know what they do when they got to make that promo. When they have to make that promo, do they make it? And sometimes you get people who get up there and fumble it, but then you get people out there like Pat McAfee who blows it out the fucking water.
Again, though, like McAfee getting involved, an athlete. You know,
I can see kicker taking a hit or two. I done seen some kickers, later wood. So
he has, like, he can tackle. He's a football player. Like, listen, say a punter, but I think he somewhere along the line he played football and he knows football. He's been an athlete. He's played in the NFL. That's good for me.
He got hit before by a guy who was. Yeah, he got hit before, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it wasn't slow. It wasn't nobody holding their punches. It wasn't nothing that was scripted.
He's been hit by a freight train before, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But again, like, what's that match going to be? That's so interesting. Is Gunther just going to smack the shit out of him? Like,
I look at it as it's going to be an opportunity for somebody to get in the ring with Gunther. Not necessarily Pat McAfee. I'm not looking for Pat McAfee to go out there and try to.
Maybe Pat gets killed and somebody saves him.
Saves him, yeah, something like that. But hold on. This is in real time. You know who one of Pat McAfee's favorite wrestlers is?
Who?
Jey Uso.
Nah, that Jey Uso is going to have other business. I don't think
he will. He will. But to say that he won't go in there and save him in that match.
Yeah, he probably will get involved.
Watch for it. Just watch for it. That's all I'm saying.
He'll probably get involved. He might cost him the match.
Exactly.
That'd be cool.
And then you got that whole Gunther and Jey Uso beef kind of rekindled in a way. But then at that same time, like, would y'all watch another Gunther versus Jey Uso match? And
it's weird. I don't know if it's totally plausible, but I wonder if they're probably going to do Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, right?
I would think they do that. That's an easy like.
So like maybe it's Jimmy Uso.
Maybe he gets him back for that match that they had right before him and Jay.
Maybe it's Jimmy. Maybe it's Big Jim.
Big Jim comes out there and saves the day.
Yeah,
but I don't see Pat McAfee getting the pin from his own finisher.
No, and I don't even think Pat McAfee's going to win because I think Gunther beats the shit out of Pat McAfee and Big Jim because I think this is designed to get Gunther's heat back. Like nobody now is talking about Gunther tapping out. They're talking about what's going to happen to Pat McAfee. So they did a great job with that. And I think Gunther is like, he's still money. He's still money. Like he's
absolutely
still money. And it's a great match. And I mean, it's huge publicity because Pat McAfee's show's got, super high viewership. So
yeah, no, Pat McAfee
super high viewers
and do a little bit of something there too. So it's probably going to be one of those situations where you get a lot of different perspectives on what the match is going to be like, and Pat McAfee talking shit from different platforms and shit like that. So I'm open to seeing exactly how all this kind of plays out. It should be a very interesting interaction.
They look like Backlash is going to be a decent show. It's coming up quick, but it's going to be a good show.
Yeah,
I think it looks like really good. They do it. They're doing a good job. I mean, they just, and you could bop in and out. You don't have to watch every hour of every day because the social media stuff kind of keeps you tapped in anyways, right? If you're on Instagram. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Chad Gable. Like Chad Gable, I know Country is our friend Country from the 2 Words For You podcast. He's a big Chad Gable. I am too, man. That guy can do anything. And is like, again, a smaller guy, but he's proven he can work with bigger guys because he's ridiculously strong. And
would
you talk about
Kurt Angle 2.0?
No, no. I don't want to compare him to that, but he's definitely in that Angle mold. But like Kurt was Kurt. Kurt was like an Olympic gold medalist who could fucking wear a silly cowboy hat. Like I don't think anyone else is pulling that off. But Chad Gable's been able to do it in a really good way. Like he's really talented, and the whole Grande Americano. Like I just love
Grande Americano is hilarious because why in the hell y'all got him doing that? But it's just perfect. It's a perfect gimmick. It's a perfect, thing to kind of do, get everybody kind of talking. Like we know that's Chad Gable, and Chad Gable's like, that is not me. I don't know who that man is, but I love it. I love the fact that it's just constantly, growing and building and kind of just folding into that mode of him actually being a big primetime player now. Chad Gable ain't been bad.
He's good, man.
Good when he hit that German suplex on Braun Strowman, that kind of piqued everybody's interest at how strong is this guy really?
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, no, he a good little mighty might. I like a little mighty might every now and again. I like a little good story to kind of put together.
I think he's got So I'm a big he's been really good. They've got a lot of people who have really kind of been dialed in, man. It's just it's a good place for them to be. And again, I don't watch every hour of every show because that's long, but like I definitely watch the pay-per-views and I enjoy them, and I enjoy a lot of the talent, and they're really athletic. So do you watch LFG?
I gotta get caught up. I haven't watched the last episode.
Okay, watch the last episode. And also too, tonight, when this is done, I'm gonna watch Dark Side of the Ring on Eddie Gilbert. It's Eddie Gilbert obviously was he was a wrestler in the 80s and in early 90s, and he was a booker and he was a genius. And but he had some issues, so obviously that's why he's on the show. The last episode what's that?
I say obviously to the Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah. The Tony Atlas episode. Tony told the story about how Dick Murdoch handed him a flyer to a Klan meeting. And he and Tommy Rich drove out to the Klan meeting. He told me that story in a car ride in like 2004 when I got to spend a bit of time with Tony Atlas. So I still have an autograph picture. We went into this bar and he said, go get my autograph bag. I said, no problem, Tony. Whatever you need, my man. And he was huge. Like I saw him bench 550 at the gym. I went to the gym and I was like, hey, Tony, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, hey, John, good to see you. And he was super nice. He's a nice guy. And, but he had cannons, just guns ablazing. But he was hilarious. And we went to this bar. I had to leave, unfortunately, but he's like, people went up to him, like, you Tony Atlas? I was like, he's like, go get my bag. And he was signing pictures for people. I have nothing but love for Tony Atlas, and I hope his life got together, but like a real pioneer, and a guy I always liked just because I liked the dude who had a good build. It was like that was one of the reasons why you watched wrestling, because it was like comic book characters, and he just had such a good build. But that story of it, he says, like, he told me that story. It was ridiculous. Him and Tommy Rich going to a Klan meeting. What the hell? So that's a great series.
A Klan meeting is nuts because
it's insane.
To a Klan meeting as a black wrestler, we don't know, but we'll take it on the chin.
Yeah,
that's crazy because, of course, I think that's one of the things that kind of makes wrestling interesting. There's always somebody who's not necessarily big to other people, but wrestling's big to everybody in a way.
Yeah.
So, you never know when you can meet Tony Atlas at some place. You never know when you can meet Mark Henry at a place or something like that. So I feel like, everybody has those experiences, but I'm really tied down to like those big experiences that people like to have with them. Like I tell a story about me meeting, like I said, Mark Henry in a strip club.
Yeah.
It was kind of the wildest experience because, first of all, I never had no plans to go. Like I was just like, we're gonna go out and celebrate one of our coworkers' birthday parties. He didn't really have a whole bunch of friends like that, so it was kind of like, let's just go out and do it.
Yeah.
We go to the strip club, and after this man takes countless shots and just kind of is doing whatever he wants to do, I noticed over in a quiet corner. Like, you ever seen a wall just move by accident? Like, that motherfucker just, Mark Henry is wide. Well, was back in the day, he was really wide.
Ooh,
So that was the thing.
Wow.
Like, he was just a big dude. And of course, I'm a big guy, so I'm much taller than him in a sense. But at the same time, we shook hands, and I was just like, bro, I got pretty big hands. And when he shook my hand, I was just like, this motherfucker is around a baseball glove all goddamn day.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is huge. Like Mark was a big guy. So I think that's one of the things that I was just like, it was kind of intimidating to kind of walk up on him, but he was the nicest of the nicest. We in a strip club. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking he doesn't want to be necessarily seen. He don't give a fuck. When he told me after that, I was just like, you know what? Mark Henry a real ass dude. Like, that's just kind of like, And
I love the pairing with, remember, like, they had that horrible belt, that ugly East. Did he hold that ugly ECW belt?
Yeah. He looked like a
Jesus.
I mean, that was probably one of the worst belts ever. That and the Divas Championship. Like, I don't know who the fuck was designing belts, but they need to go work for fucking Toonami or some shit, because those were cartoons.
But I love seeing Tony Atlas and Mark Henry together, because it was like Tony Atlas in his day was like one of the world's strongest men, and he just looked the part. He still looks good for like however old he is. Like, so, but that's a great series. Like, I really think, I don't know how many you watch, George, but of course it's a Canadian show. All those things, it's from Canada. That's where they came up with it, which is great. But I think I'm excited to see the Eddie Gilbert one. Tonight. He was just, he was a really smart guy, good wrestler too. And so I'm excited. I mean, there's a lot of great wrestling content out there, I'll tell you that. But, it's just, anyway, George, I mean, we talk TV champions. We're kicking around a couple ideas to do a live, like a live watch along.
Yes, so you guys can come along and watch some of the critiques that we do have for some of the older wrestling shows, some of the newer wrestling shows.
Critiques, it'll just be hilarity. It will be just
you are like Captain Critique. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you might not see it, but I see it. I know who I work with.
Well, I think that we're what?
You got to know your coworkers. You got to know who. Look, if I know I'm going to work every day, I know who's going to be there. I know if I'm having a good day or not.
You're always having a good day with me, but I think like maybe we'll watch, because we're on Twitch and we got to, really get into it, and so you're able to do that. So I think I'm excited to maybe do that, a WCW, probably WCW episode, definitely, because that's kind of our bag. And I got to send a shout out. The WWE Vault does a great job. WCW Vault does a great job. I like talking about them because, like, there's, like, I like also to educate. Like, I always, like, some of the issue I have with modern wrestling is, like, people just think that everything that happened in the last 3 years is the best of all time, and it's not. I always look at wrestling kind of like movies, and, like, Terminator 2 is still really good. So I kind of look at it like that, and it's just like, there's a lot of old wrestling that they're getting out there that I really hope people watch. It's really good. But one of the things they got to get is on the WCW channel, and maybe we can get a push, is WCW Sold Out 98. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views, and we got to get it on there because it's like, it's one of the ones that I love to watch. It's just classic, just really, really good, up and down, really unique stuff. Everything was different. Had a swerve with the Dusty Rhodes. Louis Spicolli took an elbow from Dusty Rhodes. The place exploded. If we can get that up, I'd like to do a live to that, because it's one of my favorite pay-per-views.
Sold Out 98 was good. Not gonna
real
lie.
Good.
The card itself was just kind of huge. I mean, you had Booker T, Rick Martel, Larry Zbyszko versus Scott Hall. You had Bret Hart versus Ric Flair, Luger versus Savage, and Luger versus Savage. That's probably a deeper match than what you probably actually would want to say that it was at that time. I think they had Chris Benoit and Raven in there too, huh?
I think it was Benoit and Raven, or it was Benoit, Raven, and DDP. I think it might have been a triple threat. but I'm not. I think actually it was Benoit and Raven, but it was like again top to bottom. I think it had the Steiners and Ray Traylor against 3 members of the NWO, Buff, Scott Norton, and someone else. But great pay-per-view. So I love I love the vaults. I love that they're loading them up. So that's what I like to see, and they've loaded up some really good stuff lately. So
absolutely.
George,
well,
a good show, maybe.
It's been a very great show. I'm glad y'all joined us for the WCW TV titles. Yeah. But I think that's just kind of how we kind of ended it today. I think we got a top 5. That's actually great. You can go back and then check out some of the people on that top 5. It's about that time of year, so the Chiefs are starting to be built after the NFL draft after weeks. So,
you know, great draft.
We back,
draft.
Baby. So,
we're like, listen. Before we go, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about the Chiefs. We can't. I'm glad we did this. What a draft by Brett Veach. If anyone's pissed off, like you got like the defensive ads he made. Listen, that guy's committed to finding a left tackle. You can't say he's not. It's like the wide receiver position over the last few years. He got DeAndre Hopkins. He's been committed. He's drafted. When he sees a need, he attacks it. So we got Jalen Moore, who last year was a really good, solid tackle, which is what we need. And then we got, Josh Simmons, who people said would have gone top 10 in the draft if he didn't get hurt. And so just great. And the defensive players, Norman Lott, and, Jelante, and Noel Williams, like just these guys, is like, geez, everyone's like, how are these guys going to the Chiefs? Bassa from Oregon. I mean, just up and down the list. Your man from SMU, the Mustangs.
Look,
Rashard Smith.
It's going to be lights out whenever somebody lets him run the ball like he wants to. I just feel like
catch it.
Right, he can do a little bit of both.
He can catch it.
Is extremely important, especially in our offense. We got a quarterback that can throw it to anybody if you're open. We got a running back that can, pound it a little bit. I think the fact that everybody wants a running back that can just rush 10 yards a carry every game is just insane to me, because guess what? Even the ones that y'all think rush 10 yards a carry don't. So the running back position by committee is definitely going to be something that you can easily fall back on, that kind of doesn't, make one player more important than the other. Everybody plays a part.
Yeah. Can we lay off Pacheco's been hurt. Let's see what he does this year. He's in a contract year. Let's lay off it. I'm people knocking Pacheco, and everyone's like, "Oh, our running backs cheats." I'm like, you guys, every Chiefs fan was screaming for Kareem Hunt to come back, and he came back. He ran well for us. He ran well. Pacheco, I think, ran well when he was healthy, and adding Rashard Smith, and I think there might be another wild card. I think we might get one of those undrafted free agents who comes in and just blows us away. I think we got one at tight end. I checked that guy's film. That guy's good. What's his name? Binning Jake?
The undrafted free agent?
Yeah. Yes. He's very, very good. No, not him. Anyway, it's just, they drafted a great, they had a great draft. It's unbelievable. It's just, Veach knows what he's doing. That's the thing. All these Chiefs fans, all the time, Veach don't know what he's doing. Bullshit, he doesn't.
Be objective about picks. The one thing that I know about Brett Veach is he's not going to pick up a player who's not going to benefit the team.
Brenningstool. Jake Brenningstool. Clemson.
I just feel like there's players that people want. Every time people say, "Oh, I want a running back," I think y'all just saying how good Gibbs was. Y'all see how good Bijan Robinson is.
Yeah.
But also, they're not as good as they could be if they was on a team that strictly needed them to be there. I put it to you like this: if you switch Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, what would be the difference? Would the Falcons be that much better? Probably not.
And also, we're not going to get up to that level to draft those guys. Like
Exactly.
we're
I told you we're gonna draft 25 or lower for the next 5 years. There's
At
not
least.
any draft where we're gonna have, we're in the top 10. If we're in the top 10, that means we fucking sucked last year. Get that?
Yeah.
And there's not a season where I see we suck. There's not a season where I see we lose less than 10 or 11 games.
Yeah.
So you got to figure that shit out. Like a lot of the things that are the Chiefs are doing, we're playing chess, not checkers. We use the season to practice. We get into the playoffs, we go ahead and play our best games. And people hate us for it because they don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
That's why you hate us for it. You don't.
And we have a bad one every now and again, like in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
But like,
give it to me on the chin. Like,
it happens.
I go all the way to the AFC Championship. Yeah, I get knocked out. You know what? I'll take that on chin. Something like that.
I'd rather lose in the Super Bowl than not lose in the Super Bowl. You know, like I'd rather lose in the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship. At least you got there. It's hard to get to the fucking Super Bowl. It's not easy. Like people think it's easy. It's not. You're facing, especially with the Chiefs, and like we're facing good teams. We play Buffalo every year. Doesn't matter if we play the AFC East or not.
It's Buffalo and Baltimore every fucking year. And sometimes it's a little bit of a wild card because we do play a wild card game every now and again where we play one of the toughest teams that we can actually play, whether it be the Texans, the Browns one year, whoever it may be at that particular point. There's always some team that's going to be in the way and not necessarily just, a pushover. Like the AFC is not a weak division by no means. Once you get to the playoffs, it's a different ball game. So people complain about the Chiefs being in that spot and, being as y'all wouldn't say good. Y'all will love you. The refs help y'all. What do the refs help us with? I've still yet to have that question answered.
I don't want to hear that. That's nonsense.
Plus,
the Broncos are getting better. Like the Broncos look good. The Chargers are going to be good. Harbaugh's going to have them dialed in. And I think the Raiders did a smart thing by hiring Pete Carroll.
Oh, you know what? I seen somebody post something the other day about the running backs, and they had Ashton Genty ranked as like number 8 in the league right now. I'm thinking to myself, you are smoking crack if you think Ashton Genty is going to come in for the Raiders and be anywhere close to a top 10.
You're going to see, right? I think he's a talented player.
He's going to be really great, really talented. They're going to do a lot of things, but I guarantee you, it's not just going to be Ashton Genty that kind of makes that team go. Like, you're going to have a whole bunch of other shit. And y'all got a lot of shit. Like, I feel like Brock Bowers is going to be a thorn in our side for the next few years.
Yeah,
as long as he's in the Raiders jersey. The Raiders are going to be good next year, and I think they're going to actually have a nice little squad, but they'll still be under our fucking boot.
Yeah, like I mean, and again, like the credit to the Eagles. They kicked our ass, and that's fine. You win, like Jesus, you win some, you lose some. But like want to talk about building from a position of strength. Look at all these teams drafting a quarterback where we don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. Our guys locked in. I think we got a good young tight end room with like Travis, who's going to mold those guys, hopefully, because that's generally what he does. And I mean, I think our wide receiver room is going to be a problem. I mean, Rashee Rice comes back, Hollywood Brown is there, Xavier Worthy's there, and Jalen Royals. His jersey's going to sell. Everybody in Kansas City, I think, is going to have one of those jerseys. Every single person. It's just going to be Jalen Royals jerseys everywhere. I mean,
my dark horse from the draft, I would say, is Omar Norman Lott, because I feel like there's a lot of people doubting his ability, and I feel
he didn't play a lot.
Yeah, but the thing about not playing a lot is, the one, you don't sustain a lot of injuries, and two, you still get to play against some of the best talent. That's the thing. You still get to play, go in rotation up against some of the best talent constantly, be able to kind of make some plays and still see how you fare against NFL level talent as well. Some of the games that y'all will probably say he didn't make the biggest of impacts, he probably made bigger impacts than what y'all know.
Oh, his pressure rate is crazy.
I'm a Bama fan. Yeah. Omar Norman Lott ruined us.
Yeah.
Period. He had a game that was just kind of a little bit better than what he what he should have, had, I would say, as a defensive tackle, because he was pushing some of those guards around and made them look like they was having bad weeks. And I'm like, he's gonna be nice for what he can do.
He will be.
He'll be a good
and look who he's next to.
Exactly.
Look who he's next to. Like again, a guy who was willing to give his knowledge. Like Chris Jones he's gonna help that kid. Like he's not gonna leave him. Like look what he does with Karlaftis. He lifts him up. He's not gonna be that veteran who's not. No, he's gonna help him. He's got a lot of experience around him, and Spags is gonna have some fun with him. I think Spags is gonna have some fun with him. Like Spags has some weapons again, man. Like you gotta get like Noah Williams. I love when hearing guys get sacks and interceptions. That's what we drafted, sacks and interceptions, and we need that.
We need constant ball pressure. We need constant stickies on fucking receivers. We need people who not going to get free. We need people who can play better in coverage. We need people who going to move by the way to go ahead and make the quarterback uncomfortable. Like, I think that's what we signed. We signed, like, Chris Jones coming up the middle and George Karlaftis coming off the edge. You can shift 2-3 offensive linemen, and then you take both of those out.
Yeah.
Now you have Mike Dana and maybe somebody else, blitzing off the side. But by the time you figure that out, the ball's down the field. Yeah. So now what do? We got to figure out exactly how to generate more pressure without making Chris Jones the one and only, pressure stop. So
yeah,
we did that. We got a great draft. We got a great group of guys that are going to come in and work hard. And the funny thing about it is I definitely want to make sure that we all understand that we're not looking for none of these people to start day one. I'm not. I'm not looking for that at all. And, of course, I would like for them to be –
They'll make an impact day one, though.
Oh, they'll make an impact.
They'll make an impact.
Every last person will make an impact by week 3. And so I'm not worried about the idea of them not necessarily getting the start or getting those minutes and things like that, because the team is pretty built. Like, we were worried about the D-line. We don't have to worry about the D-line for the next 4 years.
Well, yeah, we're in good shape. And we're well coached. I think that's the other thing that people forget. Like Joe Cullen is the D-line coach. We're well coached, and I think that's why they're able to develop this talent. They take that talent and they develop it. And so I'm excited for it. I'm pumped for the season, and we might be making a pilgrimage back.
I mean, that's the goal. Hopefully, we can get another trip to another game or something and see how it how it all unfolds. I don't know if I want. Like, I'm really superstitious, y'all. Like, oddly superstitious. Like, if I go back to that stadium, I have to go back and sit in the same seats or some shit like that. Like, I mean, I don't mind them seats. Them seats was perfect. Like, I saw everything I needed to see.
We saw DeAndre Hopkins game.
Look, DeAndre Hopkins must have
in the rain
sold everything he had in his house for that weekend, because I guarantee you, when he came out there and had those catches, it made me feel like a kid again. Like, I was Arrowhead Stadium is a vibe, y'all never.
Oh,
like, and when I say it's a vibe, like,
especially then on Monday Night Football,
felt your heartbeat outside your body. Like, that's what it feel like. It feel like the whole building got a pulse, and you just vibing with it. Like, it's like tailgating in Kansas City is totally different from any other tailgate that I've been to. It's one of those experiences where I feel like the people in the city kind of make the tailgate. Like, we were out there for like 30 minutes, and not even 30, like I would say 15 to 20 minutes just sitting outside the back of your truck. And then all of a sudden we get invited to this lady's giving out seafood and all this other shit. I'm just like, yo.
The cornbread, my God.
Like cake. Like, hey, I'm just saying, like, it was random as fuck. Like, we just out there. And I'm going to tell you right now, we got offered everything under the sun.
Shots. And we took it all. And we took every bit of it. Everything they offered.
Wow.
We accepted.
Like, I was walking around that motherfucker halfway a zombie because I was just like, it's
look.
Liquor.
Speak of the devil.
Speaking of alcohol.
So,
goddamn Kareem.
George, I think we got to make it happen this year. I think we got to try and get back down to Arrowhead because it was so much fun. We had, like, the weather sucked It was horrible.
It was horrible because I felt like, in no sense of the word, we didn't get enough sun to kind of do anything outside like that, like I wanted to do.
I was in shorts and a t-shirt at the Nebraska game.
In a poncho. And the next day, like, I feel like everywhere we went, it rained. Like, we drove to Nebraska to go to watch Nebraska versus UCLA.
Everything. Missed everything.
The entire show. Go back and watch.
Well, to recap, like, let's also recap. Because it was a long time ago. It was pre-talking about the Chiefs. We got off on a tangent, but
yeah,
our show, whatever. Here's the top 5 TV champions, Kareem, just for you, just so you know. Number 5, Chris Jericho. Number 4, Fit Finley. Number 3, the great Bobby Eaton. Number 2, Booker T. Number 1, Arn Anderson. That's the top 5 list we came up with tonight, which is great. But back, KC, definitely got to get back. We definitely got to go to the Negro League Baseball Museum because we didn't make last time.
Yeah.
I think that's something we really have to do because it's a cool play. It is a cool spot. A lot of cool gear there too, man. Like a lot of cool hats and shit that I think we need to make and like hit up some like. It's just the best city. Like I should be the Canadian spokesperson for Kansas City. Like that should be a job. I should be paid in barbecue sauce because like I go like. We're like, oh, we can go here, we go there. I'm like, no, I want to go back to Kansas City. I want to go to Power and Light District. I haven't been there. I've been there 2 years. I went there with Mike, but we never got there when it was actually lit up. Like, so I, and like, it'd be nice to see DMX again. Inside Joe.
Yes. Hey, man, look, y'all want to hear a crazy story?
No, we're not going to.
I'm not going to put anybody's names out there.
No, we're not going to do that. Not here. This isn't the forum.
You know what? John saved y'all. But it's a crazy story for another day. It's a great story.
It's
a great story, by the way.
It's a great story. And
why the fuck would it happen to me? I don't know. But
Dead DMX. Oh my. He had a rough one. Our guy had a rough one. But I mean, just it was a cool experience to be there with Mike, again, and everyone got to Mike, and Mike was the best. But because I think about this because the schedule's coming out, so I want to figure out what game we're going to go to, and and I think I'm excited. I love that city, man. That's just I always said it fits me like a warm sweater. Just you go there and the people are just so nice. Like everybody we met. I met a guy at. I forget what his guy Kelly's Tavern, I think, which the Uber driver said wasn't in a great area. But I met a guy there, and he was like, we were talking on a Nebraska game, and he's like, "Oh, you're from Canada. That's why you're so nice." And then he wanted to get into politics. I'm like, I wasn't into politics. He's like that.
Yeah, don't look. If you see us out on the streets, don't ask me about.
Yeah, I will say though. It's hilarious. He talked about Pierre Poilievre. He's like, that guy seems like he's a stud. He got beat last night on the election, and he was like, a few months ago, he was like the Grizzlies. He was like the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was down like 25 points, and he was up 25 points in the polls. He was the Grizzlies, like the Grizzlies at half, up 25, and that he did. They made a change, but it was funny. But it's a great town. Yeah, he was about him getting fell on.
I didn't say nothing about it. Y'all talking about this shit. I ain't look. My mother concealed, baby.
But it was a great time, and I'm excited to go back. And so I can't wait. George, what a show tonight! What a lot of fun. We're gonna get it out of here. You got
a lot of the good things. Like, share, subscribe, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Twitch, check us out on Twitch.
Yeah, and Twitch. So find us. The 5 Count Podcast. We still doing it big everywhere in the same way. Find us on TikTok too. We got some clips of some of our older shows where you can go ahead and take a little bit of a look and a swipe. So. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, and do all the good things. Comment and let us know what you think about the list. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Peace.
Have a good night.